The paper slid across the polished mahogany desk like a guillotine. My ex-wife's father, the VP, didn't even look up. "Accept the 68% pay cut, or we'll find someone who will," he said. His voice was smooth, corporate, devoid of any humanity. I counted the seconds it took him to realize the impact of his words. I was a single dad of 3. I breathed in, slowly. "I need 24 hours, I said calmly. No tremor, no hesitation. Inside, something cold snapped. That night, I didn't sleep. I called the CEO of their biggest rival. It turns out they'd been waiting for me. I first met him at a corporate gala. Back then, I had married his daughter, believing she was a bridge to stability, a partnership that could last. He had been charming, warm, even generous, or so it seemed. We shared dinners, golf afternoons, business tips over scotch. He offered mentorship. I offered loyalty. I believed him. I trusted him. That trust was a luxury I would pay for dearly. The first hint of betrayal came subtle, almost imperceptible. Meetings canceled at the last minute. Decisions reversed without explanation. Whispers from colleagues that didn't quite add up. I dismissed it, told myself it was coincidence. Then came the message. Accidental or deliberate, I'll never know. My name omitted from a major project brief. My input erased from reports. Evidence, undeniable. He had been orchestrating my professional downfall for months. Shock, heartbreak, they arrived, but I held them at bay. I had 3 children to think about. Rage simmered under a controlled surface. I didn't confront, I didn't plead. I planned. I spent that night mapping it all out. Who to call, which leverage points existed, which alliances could be shifted. Every misstep of theirs became a potential weapon. I was deliberate, methodical, calculated. The next morning, I walked into the office as if nothing had changed, a model of composure. I reached out to their competitors, sharing insights they believed confidential, timing each revelation to inflict maximum damage. I quietly secured projects that had been promised to them. Socially, I maneuvered, planting subtle doubts about his leadership, letting whispers grow into murmurs, murmurs into alarm. The board began to notice anomalies, inconsistencies that only someone with insider knowledge could exploit. 2 weeks later, I returned to his office. Same mahogany desk, same smug expression. He handed me a document. "We reconsidered," he said. "Perhaps 10% is acceptable." I smiled, faint, almost imperceptibly. Inside, the storm had already struck. "I appreciate it," I said, calm, controlled. I left him with that paper, a reminder of what he had tried to take and failed. But the real payoff came later. The CEO of their rival invited me to a private lunch. Confidentially, he disclosed that several of the VP's largest clients were considering leaving, unsettled by the chaos I had quietly engineered. Lawsuits had been quietly threatened over the mismanaged contracts I had flagged. The VP, who had once slid the paper across my desk like a weapon, was now scrambling to contain a collapse he couldn't prevent. I didn't gloat, not out loud, but the satisfaction was there. The knowledge that I had anticipated, manipulated, and executed the perfect sequence without a single reckless move was intoxicating. He had underestimated me, assumed that vulnerability, my children, my divorce, meant weakness. I had turned it into leverage. Walking home that evening, I watched my children play in the fading light. Their laughter was unscripted, untainted, free. For the first time in months, I let myself breathe. Justice had been served. Not violently, not chaotically, but precisely. The VP would recover, eventually, but he would never regain that advantage. The lesson was permanent. I was not to be cornered, manipulated, or dismissed. I reflect on it now, quietly, without bitterness. Betrayal had carved me into something sharper, something more careful, more intelligent. Revenge had not filled me with rage, it had filled me with clarity. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. I would add, best served smart. And I had served it perfectly.